Welcome everyone, and thanks for joining us on today's webinar with 360 Heroes and 3D Systems. Let me start by introducing today's speakers. We have Mike Kintner, who is the CEO, founder, and the key inventor at 360 Heroes. And Mike's going to be telling everyone today about how he works with 3D printing and 3D software and services to build his business. Keith Ozar is 3D Systems Director of Marketing, and he's going to be talking about one of the 3D printers that Mike uses in his business. And myself, Tom Sharon, I'm the VP of Product Marketing for 3D Systems, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about our company and about the software and services that Mike uses as well. I'd like to note that we will have a live Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So we're going to go through a PowerPoint presentation first, and then at the end of that, we'll open it up to Q&A. Now, you can type your questions in the questions box in the GoTo Webinar window at any time during the presentation or during the Q&A. And if you have a question during the presentation, feel free to type it in, and essentially that will just queue up, and then we will answer those questions verbally in the Q&A session. So I see a few questions flowing in now. That's great, and we'll answer those during the Q&A. Let me introduce who 3D Systems is if you're not familiar with our company. We're a leading provider of 3D printing-centric design to manufacturing solutions. So what does that mean? That means that we not only provide 3D printers that we're most well known for, we provide the materials that those printers actually print in. We provide software for design to create the actual designs that you would print. We offer 3D scanners, both at the consumer and professional level, so that you can scan the real world, take that into 3D software, work with it, and turn it into printable or manufacturable data. And we offer on-demand print services as well. So if you don't need to have a printer in-house because of the infrequency that you would use a printer, you can use our QUICKPARTS service to actually print on your behalf, and then we mail you the parts. We're really proud of our history of innovation and technology. A lot of people know that the founder of 3D Systems, Chuck Hull, is the inventor of 3D printing. And the very first 3D printer, the actual very first print that was ever done was done in 1983, believe it or not, on a very, very, very early stereolithography printer. Chuck formed 3D Systems and commercialized that printer in 1989. And the company went on to invent selective laser sintering, FLS, CJP, color jet printing, and MJP, multi-jet printing through the years. So we're proud of our history as a pioneer and an innovator in this space. And there's many other things that we've done that we don't list here as well. And 3D Systems has really 3D printers for every need out there. So from under $1,000, our Cube printer is made for using at home, all the way up to $1 million for our production level systems that can print in a variety of metal alloys like titanium and stainless steel and cobalt chrome and other materials, and our high precision SLA production systems that are used to print literally millions of components every year in various production environments. And of course, we have everything in between. And today we're going to be talking in particular about the CUBEPRO, which is essentially our entry-level professional printer that Mike uses at 360 Heroes. So when we look at 3D printing, it's important to consider what are the actual opportunities that the technology presents for whether it's a startup or an established company, any kind of business. And we can broadly put what you can do with 3D printing into 5 different categories. There's concept models, which are really all about communicating ideas, right? So the important part here is that you have a really good-looking model. It may or may not have color on it, but it's a good-looking model, and it's a way for you to take a product to a prospective customer before you've committed to actually manufacturing it, and sell them on the idea, with a 3D print before you commit to tooling. Or for internal use, for executive management to make decisions, or industrial designers to feel a part in their hand, and rather than just looking at a design on screen, to really understand a part and make changes to make it into a better object of a concept model. And the next phase is functional prototyping. So this is all about validating ideas and validating engineering principles. So this is printing parts that will have some level of toughness and functionality to them so that you can actually test them in the real world as prototypes. And so an example there would be what Mike is doing actually. So as he designs some of his products, he will create functional prototypes to actually test that they work, and he's going to talk more about that. You can also do rapid tooling, which is all about getting parts into production or pre-production very quickly. So instead of going straight to hard tooling, there's a lot of ways to go from a 3D print to soft tooling that you can do short runs on or early testing of production. And then, of course, there's actual production parts. These are end-use parts that are printed and put on a car or put on an aircraft or used, right out of the printer. And this is happening more and more frequently today. In fact, there's fighter jets, U.S. Air Force fighter jets that have dozens of printed parts on them that are operating today. And Mike's going to talk about how he uses some printing to do his actual production parts as well. And then the last category is what we just call custom. And this is all about mass customization. It's often healthcare related. But one of the great benefits about 3D printing is that we can print 1 million of something, and every single one can be unique, and it doesn't cost any more to do that. So we know that with traditional manufacturing, if you make something unique, you can't injection mold 2 unique parts, right? You have to recreate tooling, and it would be very expensive. And so for things like crowns and bridges, for dental work, for things like hearing aids, for medical implants, knee implants, that sort of thing, we are seeing a significant adoption of 3D printing and additive manufacturing to do this kind of work as well. Okay, and with that, I'm going to hand it over to Mike, and he's going to tell you about his company and how he uses our technology. So, Mike, I'm giving you control of the screen.
Okay.
And, go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Tom, and for inviting me to tell you a little bit about 360 Heroes. And I also want to thank 3D Systems for allowing me to get to this point today, because with the support of your company, I think it's been a big success for 360 Heroes. A little bit about 360 Heroes. We were actually founded in 2011 in my home office in my garage. The exciting part about it is we're going to show you all the different types of models that we sell and market. So everything today is all 3D printed from 3D Systems. In the last 18 months, we've been selling our products in over 65 different countries right out of our small 3-bay garage. As small as we are, we're actually considered an industry leader in interactive 360 video. And from that, in 2013, we have actually received multiple Webby Awards for doing a Ford introduction of a Ford's MKZ truck or car. And then we're very proud in this year's book of the Guinness Book of World Records. Our holders actually made a Guinness World Record for shooting the first 360 video on top of Mount Everest. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. And in this short span of 18 months, our customers are the Army, Navy, Visa, and so forth. So we've had a lot of real big name companies talk to us about what we're actually doing in the industry. The evolution when we all started was back in 2011, and this model here in the lower right-hand corner was basically my first model that I ever done. And that was done in approximately August of 2011. And I really needed to come up with a solution to hang below a helium blimp because I had an aerial photography company. So that model, which is printed in an ABS material, which is a real soft type material, and that model translated into this type of model so that it could be more secure, hanging it below a helium blimp. And then we evolved into a PLA version over here on this side, which is a much harder material and more robust for dealing with it in a production type of environment. So because with all the different types of tests that we were doing, we settled on PLA for our material types because, again, it's really strong and rugged. And using, at the time, it was a 3D touch machine when I first started working with 3D systems. And as you can see here, this is a production run, and this was the camera system that we were actually using. And we used a software package. We did all of our CAD modeling that way, which made it really unique for us because I didn't have to go out and spend a great deal of money on buying injection mold systems or things like that. We could actually print these models up for anywhere between $5 to maybe $10 per model, and then market off those models or parts that we were creating. So it gave us a really unique opportunity to move into the environment. Our challenge with this whole company was I needed to build a super lightweight solution. It needed to be quick, easy, and inexpensive solution for CAD modeling. It needed to be a reliable prototyping printing solution, ABS or PLA. And I had done a lot of research with a whole variety of different companies, and I chose 3D Systems because they had everything from the CAD modeling side right through to the printing side. And with that, I needed to find a strong enough material that I could be used for production, and that's where at that time we chose the PLA because it was very rough. And I also needed to find something that I can put my hands on it. I'm a very visual-oriented type of designer and entrepreneur, so I needed to be able to design something on the CAD system and very quickly print it and then go test it. And then if it didn't work, go back and try it all over again. And that gave me the vehicle means to be able to do that. Next thing that I was looking for is it wasn't just about the printing solution, is I wanted to know if I could take what I've got and migrate it to higher end production or even injection molds. And their QUICKPARTS system allows me to be able to do that, which is excellent. The other thing is I needed to be able to roll it out worldwide and roll it out quickly, and more importantly, try not to get eaten by sharks in the industry. Well, unfortunately, that didn't work for us because one of our first prototype underwater 360 video gears was actually sent to New Zealand, and yes, he was in the water for maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and the great white shark, she took a nice big bite out of that and made off with my gear, and I lost my prototype. So, but we got some really good marketing out of it, which was excellent. Towards the end of the seminar, we'll send you these links, and you can actually experience all these links on YouTube, so you can actually see the great white shark eat my prototype gear. So how does the 360 Heroes gear work? Basically, what it allows you to do is create interactive 360 video all around you at the exact same time, so that you can film in all these different angles in reference to how the camera is pointing and create amazing imagery with one photo on the fly. So what it allowed you to do is, what we did was we took one GoPro camera, which has a viewing angle 170 degrees. Then we put 6 of these cameras into our 3D printed holder, and that allows us to film 360 degrees on the horizon and 180 degrees vertically. So in number 5 here, this area here actually wraps right around to this area here. So it's a full 360 photo or video. And then here's the same video up here wrapped into a little planet mode, all from a 3D printed product model. Now, the next thing we wanted to figure out is, how do you create that video? So now that we're taking the picture in all those different angles, and here we have the different camera numbers all lined up, and what we do is we sync all the video together, and we have holders from 6 cameras up to 14, and we break apart each camera video frame by frame. So here we are, we're pulling them all apart frame by frame, so we're shooting at 48 frames per second or 100 frames per second. So for every 1 second, we have 100 frames, and we stitch them all together in this type of fashion so that we can create one larger video. And again, we'll show you in the YouTube link. It actually shows you how that works. So in the end, what it allows us to do is to create one big video frame with pixels as high as 12,000 by 6,000 video pixels, which is 6 times HD TV. And with the new GoPro Hero 4s that come out, we'll be able to produce content that is 12,000 by 6,000 pixels, and you'll be able to create incredible presentation. And with this particular challenge on top of Mount Everest, we worked with a company called Everest Media Productions, and as well as Appa Sherpa, and we trained the Sherpas to shoot the 360 content on the top of Mount Everest. And what was really interesting is when we were approached about doing this project in 2013 was, will the holders withstand the environment? And I'm thinking, okay, sure, no problem. And I asked them what was the temperature like at the top of Mount Everest, and they said minus 51 degrees without the wind chill. So I said, well, geez, I don't even know what type of temperature this will even handle. So I kind of got in trouble with my wife, and I cleaned out my freezer and took all these holders that we printed up and threw them in the freezer and left them in there for a couple days, and took them out, and we were dropping them all over the place, and surprisingly enough, they didn't break. So it worked out very well for us. But my wife, needless to say, wasn't too happy with me after I cleaned out the freezer to do this little test. But it was a lot of fun. So where how did we actually make everything today, and where did we actually get to this point? Well, one of the reasons why we chose 3D Systems is we needed to be able to come up with a solution that had everything. I needed to have the CAD software, I needed to have the printing ability, I needed the ability to go to high-end production, and 3D Systems was the only company out there that was able to offer that. So also what was really, really important is I was just basically taking a hobby idea that I was trying to solve and try to turn it into something that's real. And when you're just trying to run something out of your home office or your 3-day garage, you don't have a lot of money to spend. So Geomagic CAD design allowed me a simple and easy to use, cost-effective system that I could afford, but yet I can take all of these models and do advanced CAD design, which was excellent. So in talking with 3D Systems, I discovered they had great customer support. So literally, I ordered my printer on a Friday, and at the same time, I designed it. Right after I ordered, I downloaded Geomagic. I designed my model over the weekends, and Monday and Tuesday, my printer actually arrived, and I print my first model upon delivery. So what was so amazing is I had a concept in my mind on Friday. I ordered the software, built the software because it was extremely intuitive to use, used it over the weekend, got it all built, and literally when the printer showed up, took the printer out of the box, put my model into it, and print my first solution. So that was, in my eyes, amazing for an entrepreneur to have that type of ability. Now, the next thing that we wanted during the research was a nice 3D printing solution. And what I discovered with their system is it had a simple loading ability, and the printer was reliable. A lot of the materials you'll have, we had, especially when it all first started, and a couple of the other systems I tried, that the material was breaking all the time or it wouldn't print right. And I discovered that the 3D Systems at the time was called 3D Touch, was very well. And then we migrated from the 3D Touch to the CUBEPRO as soon as 3D Systems upgraded to that. And then Keith is going to talk a little bit about the QUICKPARTS, which we're using now, which is excellent because it allows me to take these quick little models and turn it into a hands-on concept in a matter of hours, which is excellent. So here's an example of this. For example, I had a customer call me up and say, Mike, we wanted a particular camera system designed for a new type of lens for the GoPro. So in Geomagic, we designed our 3D model in a matter of a few minutes. And then I took, in this particular case, I just took this part and sent it over to my laser engraver that I have, and I actually carved this out of just like a type of cardboard to see if the part model would fit correctly. And then once it did, I took that part and shoved it in and used a PLA flat plastic and burned out my part in a matter of seconds on a laser engraver, which worked out really, really well. So inside of one day, I took the concept that we wanted to use, created a test model, it worked, so we then turned lasered the part out. We sent that model off, and what it allowed us to do is here you can see all the different camera systems. So we've got 10 different cameras, and you can see where the pictures all overlap onto one another. And then this is what the picture looks like in one view. So it's almost like a fisheye view, but you get a perfect view with no distortion once we cut this out. So, and this viewing angle is 270 degrees. So it gives you a really nice type of wide angle without any funny distortion going up on the top. So once the customer got that model, they liked it. This is where we did a lot of testing on the PLA machines, because what we did was we created this little tiny holder here with the GoPro stuck in it. And we used the CUBEPRO to actually create this model so that I knew that the camera would fit in it perfectly. And once that did, we made one master holder and replicated that all the way around the outside. And then using the next level of technology at 3D Systems, we actually sent it to QUICKPARTS. QUICKPARTS actually printed this up using a SLS flexible nylon. It's really lightweight and allowed me to be able to create this model in a matter of hours, which was excellent. So I took a concept from here to literally this concept here, and this was all done within a 3-day period. So time is money, which we all know, and being able to do rapid in-house / garage designs made it really easy for 360 Heroes to be able to turn this stuff out. It gave us great fast hands-on solutions for proofing concepts. And then we used Geomagic 3D modeling. We can do the design in 2 to 3 hours based upon what we're trying to do. We would do small holder tests in ABS or PLA just to make sure everything would fit the cameras. And they would print within the 2 to 3 hour period. And then we could do laser cutting, which is very simple, by taking the flat designs or the 2D designs and send it to DXF and then send it right out to the laser printer. And then in some cases, we create certain tabs on the PLA type products, and then we laser those PLA products afterwards. So it allows us even more flexibility. And then take all of that information and send it to SLS for actual print production, which works out really, really well. So in that particular case, we were able to convert time to money. So what it allowed us to do is take a 2 to 14 month project, typically in standard conventional means, and now do the whole project in 5 days. The robust printing production solutions allows us to literally create reliable hands-on testing and be able to take the models that we're printing or creating and immediately be able to use it in real-world scenarios. It was significant cost savings for us because we didn't have to create a lot of jigs or anything like that to hold our parts. We can actually produce it real quickly, and it allows us to go faster time to the market and create affordable manufacturing solutions. So with that said, we're now creating 360 content all over the world and selling our products all over the world, which is really exciting. And in a matter of 18 months, be able to do this very, very quickly. So now what I'd like to do is turn this back over to Tom and Keith to finish their part of the presentation.
Sure. So, hi, my name is Keith Ozar. I'm the Director of Marketing for Consumer Products at 3D Systems. I just love Michael's story here. The whole idea that Michael can come up with a concept on a Friday, decide to order a 3D printer, software, and over the weekend model and have a completed product by the Tuesday when the machine arrives that he can print out. It just blows me away. It just shows that you can create an industry just from an idea over a weekend. It's a really compelling story. I'm really excited that we've just launched the QUICKPARTS that is actually making this this a reality for so many different people, entrepreneurs in their garage, in their home offices, coming up with ideas and prototyping on the spot. So the QUICKPARTS here is a professional 3D printer to make large, multicolor, multi-material prints. We see people using these in schools for startup offices in their office and in their businesses, just because they can prototype quickly on their desktop. It's the ultimate drafting tool for a professional, and it has an advanced feature set that just makes modeling real easy. Yeah, so what's really great about the QUICKPARTS is it actually makes really precise objects and a very large build volume. So you can print something 10.8 by 10.45 by 9.45 inches. So to get this in your head, imagine holding a basketball in your hand, a very large object. And the way people build things, you can see how Michael builds things, it's not about building one piece. You're building things that are complex, that have to be precise. You're building things with components that articulate. So you can build a very large part that connects to other parts. You can make a very large item that goes well beyond the build volume. This QUICKPARTS also offers a controlled print chamber, which actually gives you accuracy and reliability for effortless printing. So you can make very large, high-quality ABS prints that are very accurate. It provides this controlled chamber, so there's no cracking or warpage that you normally expect from other 3D printers. This actually solves this problem. You get very large prints that just look beautiful. Beyond ABS, we can also print in PLA, which is polylactic acid, which is a biodegradable material. Also, we're coming out with Nylon, which is a very durable and functional material that people are really excited to prototype with. It has a little flex to it. It's very strong, very hard to break. PLA is just beautiful to look at. It has a nice gloss on it. Like I said, it's biodegradable, sustainable. ABS is what Legos are made out of. So I don't know if you ever stepped on a Lego. So that, is very strong. They come up, you can actually mix and match these materials together. The QUICKPARTS offers 3 different models of the single, the duo, and the trio, and that refers to how many print heads there are on there. So you can, if you have 3 print heads, you can mix and match up to 3 different colors, 3 different materials. So we have a wide range of color choices. We have 25 different colors available in PLA and ABS. Both offer that. There's even glow-in-the-dark and fluorescent colors. So if you have a special need for a client that matches their branding for a prototype, you can actually create this. And by mixing and matching colors, you can make really compelling designs and prototypes. So some of the other features that are really great, that just makes it easy to use, it has Wi-Fi. It works for your Mac or PC. So it's Wi-Fi enabled. It has a touch screen that it's easy. You can either go Wi-Fi from your computer, or you can put your designs on a USB drive and just scroll through your designs right on this color touchscreen where you can see the objects and print. They have easy-to-load cartridges that actually tell you what materials inside the cartridge. It won't let you print if you don't have enough material inside the cartridge, so there's no waste. Also identifies what material in there. So if you're looking to print in PLA and your print is for ABS, you won't make the mistake and run it at a wrong temperature. And then there's also features on the software that are really easy to use, like fully automated support generation, as well as easy to color tools, so you can choose which colors of your part you want to be, which colors that you want them to be. You can actually choose right on the shell of the part, and then you can put multi-parts on the platform and choose which colors and what materials you want to print in. So the advanced feature set of the QUICKPARTS offers professional print quality. So there's over 27 combinations of different print film modes and different print qualities. This advanced feature set, you can pick which resolution. 70 microns, which is in comparison to our competitors, this is one of the highest resolutions out there. There's also a drafting mode of 300 microns, so it can print quickly. You can choose the print strength, whether you want to be hollow, strong, or solid, and also the infill patterns, which gives a level of support as well inside the model, so it can create strength. So with these combinations, you can create tolerances that are fit for your prototype. So you get higher accuracy, feature and detail resolutions. It's not even layer thickness, it's actually layer thinness. 70 microns is like the width of a human hair. So you get really high quality prints. You have the choices of whether you want it to be a 200 micron or 300 micron if you want to print quickly, if you want to iterate fast. And the accuracy is for the market, it is actually way more advanced, 2 times the accuracy compared to our competitors. So we have 3 different models. So each of them are broken down to how many print heads you want on it. We have the single, the CUBEPRO, which is a single head, which is $27.99. The CUBEPRO Duo that sells for $33.99, and the CUBEPRO Trio that's $43.99. So it depends on how many materials you want to use, depending on the color heads. They all have a controlled print chamber, which, like I said before, it's about accuracy and reliability of parts. They can all print in ABS, PLA, and nylon. They all have automated supports, and there's advanced feature sets that I spoke about. And the only one that doesn't have multi-material is the single one, because you only have one head on it. But with the Cube Duo and the CUBEPRO Trio, you can actually print in all the materials, mix and match the colors, mix and match materials.
Yeah, thanks, Keith. So I'm going to talk real quickly about the Geomagic design software that Michael refers to, and this is the software that he actually does all of his designs in. So Geomagic Design is CAD software. It's really all about getting from an idea to a working prototype and then on to a production part very, very quickly. So it offers a rich set of 3D modeling tools. It's fast. It's quite straightforward and easy to get started in it, as Mike can attest to. And everything that you design in the software is instantly editable. You can see here, there's varying levels of complexity. We can design things like the watch in the previous slide, as well as this trailer. This really mean-looking trailer thing is designed in the Geomagic design software. It covers 3D product design. It's a history-based parametric modeler, as I mentioned. It has an extensive part library with standard components, which saves you a lot of time. So you can pull a whole set of standard components from our library and add those to your design. So you don't have to design everything from scratch. It offers 2D documentation because, of course, we know that not everything gets 3D printed. A lot of things are still manufactured using traditional methods, and quite often if you're sending work out to a job shop or something like that, they're going to want those 2D drawings of the parts so that they can actually machine them and turn them and whatever they need to do to make those parts. That's all very easy to do with the Geomagic design software. And we offer really advanced tools as well in GeoDesign, including FEA, finite element analysis and simulation, and we have photorealistic rendering in the software. And we don't mention it in the slide here, but one of the key things about Geomagic Design is cost. Like the CUBEPRO, it offers amazing functionality at an exceptional price point of $1,000 to $2,000 for the software. Let me switch gears and talk very quickly about QUICKPARTS as well. So Mike didn't go into a lot of detail here, but he did mention that what he does is after he has prototyped parts on his CUBEPRO or previously his CubeX or his 3D Touch printers in-house, he will then send a final design to our QUICKPARTS group. And QUICKPARTS are experts in making production-level parts, and that includes via 3D printing as well as other techniques, including injection molding. And really the key thing about QUICKPARTS is if you're looking for unique, low-volume, custom-designed plastic or metal parts, it's a great option to use. We have patented technology for custom part procurement, and we have a team of experts. We actually have facilities, dozens of facilities all around the world with years and years, decades, probably centuries worth of expertise among all of our team at QUICKPARTS in transitioning from design to manufacturing. And we have a unique and proven manufacturing services business. So, we're not just simply taking a part you give us and throwing it on a printer. We are making sure that we're using the best techniques to make the particular part that you need made. And QUICKPARTS will follow you through the entire development of the product. You can start with rapid prototypes and pre-production models that we'll create. We can create tooling and production parts, and we can do investment casting. We don't note it here, but we have In addition to investment casting capability, we have injection molding capabilities and machining capabilities as well. QUICKPARTS is really changing the way that product development and manufacturing professionals outsource custom manufactured parts, and QUICKPARTS offers complete and tailored end-to-end solutions from design to manufacturing, and we work closely with every customer to make sure that you're getting exactly what you need. We're going to get started with the questions here, and I already see several good ones that have come in. The first question, one of the early ones that came in, is what printer would you suggest for production? And I'm going to take a shot at this one. It's kind of a very broad question. Depends on what types of parts you want to produce. When we talk about production parts, those can be in plastic, and a whole variety of different kinds of plastics. They can also be in metal. And 3D Systems offers production printers. Our Pro X line of printers, if you go on our website and look, the Pro X line of printers are our production level printers that make either metal parts or very tough plastic and nylon parts and those are typically the ones that are being used in production environments, like on aircraft, in cars, and that sort of thing.
That's kind of what we also use, is the SLS material, because it's a flexible nylon, so it's really rugged, and you can build live hinges from it, which makes it extremely flexible and usable in the production world as well.
Here's a question about Michael. What is Michael's background? Does he have experience in 3D CAD modeling, or is the Geomagic design software so intuitive that he was able to get designing within hours?
My background is in CAD/CAM and CNC machining, so I understand modeling, but I have never used Geomagic. But what was really interesting is a lot of my CAD experience and some of the other 3D modeling systems out there that are extremely expensive. They're anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000 for those software packages. And what I discovered was Geomagic does all those solutions at a low-level cost, but still gives me the high-end accuracy. So if you want to go to cnerd.com, CNERD.com, that'll give you a little history about myself and what I do in the machining world.
Does Michael run actual production parts with his Cube printer?
When I first started, yes. It's now what I'm more or less doing with it. It's because of the way it's being used. If I could print it on that machine and know that it's going to withstand minus 51 degrees or high speeds, because we're putting on airplanes and things like that, I would continue to use it. Some of the parts that you can create in high def with the QUICKPARTS, you can do that, because especially if they're one-offs or two-offs, it just really lets you create an ultra-high resolution part that could be used in manufacturing. But my stuff, not all of it. When I started, yes, but now everything, I literally design it, test it locally here in the shop, and then I send everything off to QUICKPARTS, and QUICKPARTS does the turnaround time for me for my production models.
And here's a question. On the CUBEPRO, how long would it take to print one of those large parts, a 10 by 10 by 9 inch part, to print it at high res? So this is the longest possible print time, it sounds like, is what this gentleman is asking about. Keith or Mike, can you answer that?
Depends on if it's hollow or not, but it's about 10 hours to 14 hours.
And another question is there any ability to merge metal with plastic in the same model?
Not that I'm aware of. I know you could make metal parts and ABS parts and snap them together kind of like what Keith was showing with like a universal joint and pieces like that, or Lego type effects.
Yeah, and that's correct, Mike. There's no technology currently that combines, in terms of additive manufacturing or 3D printing. I'm not aware of any technology that combines plastic and metal printing together. Those do have to be separate processes because they're so vastly different in how you actually print those different materials. Here's a question. Does Geomagic Design, the software, work with other systems and equipment, or is it proprietary to 3D systems? And the answer is no. It is not proprietary to 3D systems. It does work. It outputs models in all of the standard formats, including STL for any 3D printer, as well as IGES and STEP and ACES and other formats that you would be able to get from really any 3D modeling system to be used by, essentially anyone that is able to take a 3D model, or any type of other software that's able to take a 3D model. So going to CNC or doing different production methods with things that you design in the Geomagic Design software is totally possible to do.
And one of the reasons why I chose Geomagic is because a lot of the manufacturing companies that I deal with that make other custom parts for us, they take SolidWorks for everything. Well, the logic behind Geomagic is very similar to the logic behind SolidWorks, but you don't have the price point. So I can accomplish the same exact thing that I can do in SolidWorks in Geomagic. And the neat part is all of my models that I create in Geomagic, I just send them over to this higher-end production shop that they use SolidWorks, for all of their high-end CNC machinings and stuff that they're doing. They take all of my models directly out of Geomagic into theirs with no conversion. So it's very, very reliable. So all the tolerance and everything that I create in the Geomagic world sends it right over to the other stuff, which is excellent.
The CUBEPRO use a support material in addition to the ABS, PLA, or Nylon?
Yes. You don't have to. It's all in the printing process itself. And you can choose, like for example, I have the CUBEPRO Trio. So in that particular case, I have 3 heads. And typically I'm printing in one color or 2 color. So one color might be a white or a blue, and then maybe another color is my support material. So that can be ABS or PLA, and I can mix the two, which is really slick. So a lot of the times, ABS, I'll lay ABS down and put PLA on top of it, or I'll use PLA as the support material and just build my own little rafts, which is pretty slick.
And what would be the lifespan of one of our typical 3D printers?
Well, if the ABS and PLA material it's like a Lego, so those products last forever. My SLS material, we did a really cool test with the nylon material. And I put it in an automated machine. And when you look on 360 Heroes sites in our news center, there's a section there on how we physically tear apart a particular model. And we had it flexing one of the nylon arms, and it worked out to be, because of the amount of times I flexed it, it ran for like 2 or 3 days before it finally broke, which equated to like 9.5 years worth of usage before it finally snapped. But it's a really cool model where I also put it in a bending machine and actually broke it, literally pulled it apart to see the strength. And it was about 280 pounds of foot-pound of torque to rip the nylon parts apart, which is excellent.
And here's a question about QUICKPARTS. How widely available is QUICKPARTS service globally? are there reps in the UK or in Europe? And the answer to that is yes. We have we sell worldwide, and we have production facilities worldwide. We have production. We have multiple facilities in the UK, and we have multiple facilities in Europe, including in Italy, France, the Netherlands, Germany, Switzerland, and a few other countries where we do various QUICKPARTS production. And of course, we don't have all printers or other production techniques in every facility, so sometimes we spread those out. But to answer your question, generally, yes, QUICKPARTS is available globally, and we do have sales, and we do the production worldwide. Here's a question. Let's see. Here's a question about 360 Heroes. Does it do full 3D video for high-res 4K displays?
Yes, we can do. Actually, we have 3 new models. One is called the H3 Pro 12, which is full 3D spherical. We also have the 3D H3 Pro 12H, which is 3D on the horizon and 2D up and down. And then we also do 3D up and down a horizontal model, which is a different type of concept. And those models will actually create full 3D video up to 6K. And then you can down compress it to fit on any player or Oculus Rift. The Rift will do very well with 4K models. So usually I stitch everything to the maximum resolution of 6K. Then I down compress it to 4K to make it a little bit sharper, and then be able to present it.
Very cool. All right, we're almost out of time here. We've actually run over the hour, so I'm gonna end with one more technical question about the CUBEPRO. And so, Michael, when you were talking about the supports that the CUBEPRO will print on some parts that have overhangs, do you need at least a 2-head printer, meaning the Duo model, to be able to use support material?
If you want to do it automatically, yes. But my first machine was a 1-head machine, a 3D Touch. And what you can do is you can kind of cheat the system and make your own support material, but leave it the same material. So it's, you can create like little stems to help support the material that are easily cut off with a, a pair of snips or something like that. But to do it automatically, yes, a 2-head system is better because you can have one material already lined up perfectly for you, and then for support, and then the other material can be the actual model. And the nice part about that is you can, depending upon what type of material you use, you can actually stick that in a dissolve tank, and if you have support material all layered inside your whole product, you can actually sit it in a dissolve tank, and the PLA material will dissolve away, and the ABS material will stay, which is kind of cool.
Right, and Michael, just to be clear, so on a single material machine, you can, they're designed to run just fine and print supports. It's just that the supports are in the same material as the part itself. So the way the supports work is when they connect to the part, we try to minimize the connection area so that when you do snip them away, there's very little residual support that's left down there. You can very easily sand that down or sand it off. There is the advantage that if you have a duo or a trio system, as Michael mentioned, you can print supports in PLA, and you can print the part in ABS, for example, and then it's very easy to remove the supports, and you can even remove internal supports that way. Okay, so with that, we've gone over our time, so I'd like to thank everyone for joining us here today and spending about an hour of your time with us. Hopefully it was informational and interesting for you to hear. Mike and Keith, I'd very much like to thank you, and Mike in particular, thank you so much for sharing your story here, and we're We love to have you as a customer, and we look forward to continuing to do a lot of great work with you.
Well, great. Thank you very much, everyone. And again, thanks for attending. And stop at 360 Heroes. It's 360heros.com, and check out the cool videos we're creating. Thanks again, everyone.